Okay, with that, I guess we can go ahead and I will call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone would please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. We have the flag up here behind the dais. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item, of course, is the approval of the agenda itself, and I would accept a motion at this time.
Mr. Chairman.
I make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
Give a second.
Motion has been made, a second has been made as well. Any further discussion? No. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, that brings us to our public comments. Speakers will be given a 5-minute maximum time limit to speak before the Board of Elections about various topics, issues, and concerns. Speakers must direct comments to the board, and responses are reserved at the direction of the board. If we have any public comment tonight, feel free to come up here to the front desk, and please state your name and a rough area of where you reside in Fayette County.
My name is Amelia Cutting. I reside off of Highway 54 west, going west of here. Not too far west of here. So I wrote this email and I sent it to Brianna Garrett, to Margaret Johnson, and Beverly Daniel today, and I would like to read it. Thank you. Dear Ms. Garrett, I'm writing this email to let you know about my experience voting on November 4th. That day, I researched the candidates and circled who I plan to vote for on a sample ballot, which I picked up at the library. Then I went to my voter precinct at the old Fayette County High School. When I went to the voting machine, I pulled the sample ballot out of my pocket, and this is what it looks like. This is what I pulled out. And one poll worker named Fran immediately said, "Can she have that piece of paper?" to the poll manager. The poll manager named Jackie started walking towards me and said, "No, she can't." I walked up to her and I wanted to know if I was allowed to have any piece of paper with names on it of the candidates that I wanted to vote for. She said no, and asked me to show her the paper that I had in my pocket, because I had put it back in my pocket when I walked away from the machine. I asked her if I was allowed to have a sample ballot. She said, "If it's printed by Fayette County." I said, "Okay, so just to be clear, I can't have any kind of paper unless it's a sample ballot." But she cut me off and said, "Why don't you just show me what you have?" And I said, "I can show it to you when we finish talking," because I really wanted to understand kind of like what the rules were before I even got there. I was wondering what if I was allowed to write names down or anything. So I tried to talk to her, and she became, I'll continue reading. She said, "Why don't you just show me what you have?" And I said, "I can show it to you when we finish talking." I attempted to clarify again several times, and several times she talked over me and demanded that I show her the paper that I had in my pocket. There was no reason for her to antagonize me about showing her the paper, because at that moment I was not attempting to vote. I wasn't anywhere near the voting machine. I was not trying to break any rules. I was just trying to learn about the rules. But she behaved in an extremely pushy and domineering manner about me showing her what I had when I was trying to gather information. I'm ad-libbing a little bit to the email. She started talking to another lady who I found out later was the poll watcher. She said to the other lady, she's refusing to show it to me, to the poll watcher. And I turned to her and I said, "No," I told her I will show her the paper when we finished talking. And that's when Jackie started pushing me back by my shoulders, and she said, you can't talk to her." I found out later you can't talk to poll watchers, but I didn't really know at the time who she was. After that, I showed my sample ballot that I had to Jackie, like she was asking me, and she said, "This is not a sample ballot." She said, she told me, she said, "This is not a sample ballot. This says official absentee provisional emergency ballot." at the top, and she pointed at the top. And I said, okay, but it does say sample all across it. And she said that she had to call somebody to ask if it was okay for me to use it to vote. And she called another person, and I could hear her telling the other person on the phone, oh, somebody wrote on it, like that to the other person, which I'm the one who wrote on it. So I didn't know, why it was such, I'll continue. When she got off the phone, she never actually said to me that I was allowed to use it, but rather she told me, they're just going to let you use it because they don't want any more arguing. She also repeated to me, but this is not a sample ballot, and she said, you can see what a sample ballot looks like when you leave. There's a display board where you can see there's a sample ballot on it, and that's what a sample ballot looks like. You can see that when you leave. This is not a sample ballot. And I said, okay, I'll look at that when I leave. So after I voted, I walked out, and as I was walking out, I saw that poll manager named Jackie had already walked out in front of me, and she was looking at the display board, the one she told me to look at. And I started walking up to the board, and she started kind of walking back towards the voting, and I just tried to look to see what she was referring to, and it looked, there was glued, taped up on the board, and it looked exactly the same as, yeah, she told me mine was different because I wrote on it, and yeah, I think if she has that type of demeanor, where she's going to not be able to calmly explain the rules.
Ma'am, could you please approach the conclusion of your remarks?
Yes. I don't think that she should be working with the public in that capacity if she cannot calmly explain the rules, if she's going to be that begrudging about speaking to me. And the last thing I want to say is I've been accompanying my parents to vote in Fayette County since the 1980s, and I've been voting in Fayette County since I was 18 years old, and I've never had a bad experience until now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I just wanted to immediately recognize that we at the board are familiar with the situation. Thank you for your contact with the elections office and with Director Garrett. I just wanted to assure you that we are not just familiar with the situation, we also want to get on top of it, get to the bottom of it, and solve it, because we want to make sure that all voters have an extremely positive experience like you've had in the past. So thank you for coming forward. Thank you for explaining the situation, what you experienced, and I assure you that we here at the office take it seriously. We really want to solve the situation for you. So thank you. Okay, we don't have any items of old business, so that can bring us along to our next item on the agenda, of course, the approval of the October 28th, 2025 regular meeting minutes. I believe we all are familiar with these minutes that we have from our past meeting, so I would accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby make a motion to approve the minutes as presented from the October 28, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Excuse me, on board, if I may interject, I would like to make a correction on from our meeting earlier. We had 19 provisional ballots accepted, not 18 provisional ballots accepted, and I wanted to make sure that I put that on the record.
On
Thank you.
minutes?
So, no, so I'm not making a correction. I'm so sorry. And I yield. I thought we were on certification. I'm on the
You're
wrong
good.
agenda item.
You're good.
Never mind.
We've got a motion and a second on the table. With that, I'll ask for any further discussion. No? Okay, go ahead and call the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. And now for items of new business, of course, we have only one, which is the certification of the November 4th, 2025 Municipal General and Special Public Service Commission election. Okay, and as Director Garrett just said, I believe the number that was stated in the 3 p.m. meeting was 18 provisionals that were accepted. The real number was actually 19. We're just one off. So with that, I'll ask Director Garrett for any further comments on certification and for her recommendations.
Yes, our provisional ballots, well, to go over the statistics one more time, we had a 32.87% turnout for this general municipal / PSC election. I would like to say the turnouts for each city, if you don't mind, just to kind of have it on the record.
Sure.
So for Brooks, there was a turnout of 47.68%, and this information is in your election summary report under each contest at the very end of the row. So Brooks had a total of 47.68% turnout. Fayetteville had a total of 30.37% turnout. Peachtree City had a total of 40.21% turnout. Tyrone had a turnout of 30.80% turnout, and Woolsey had a turnout of 35.80%. Did anyone have any further questions for me? Thank you.
No further question for the director?
Nope.
Okay, well, this is a pretty short ballot all in all across the county, so I know we had time to review the precinct returns just with the addition of those 19 provisionals. At this time, I would be happy to accept a motion on the certification.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve and certify the election report from November 4th, 2025.
Second.
Motion and second been made. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call the vote. Motion and second been made, so all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Okay, our next item, of course, is the public hearing. Public hearing of staff's challenges to remove registered Fayette County voters from the electors list who are registered in the state of Georgia's Secretary of State voter registration system as deceased, mentally incompetent, canceled, or felon. Of course, this is an as-needed item. The board itself does not have the full authority to actually act on this, and this is mainly, this maintenance is conducted at the state level. So with that, I would just ask Director Garrett if any action is necessary from the board at this time.
There is no action necessary at the board at this time. However, I would like to report that we have removed a total of 59 voters since our last board meeting. 33 of those being deceased, the other remaining voters being of cancellations of various types.
Thank you, Director Garrett. Okay, with that, brings us to our next item on the agenda, of course, the director's report itself. So, Director Garrett, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little insight into where we are as we just wrapped up this election cycle and as we're looking forward to the next one next year.
Yes, so we are completing our post-election duties in the office. Our risk limiting audit will be on next Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. at the library in the smaller room. We also will be holding I will be presenting to you all, we'll be holding a hearing to find a location for precinct number 8, Morning Creek, because we need to find a permanent location for Morning Creek for the upcoming election. Outside of that, as far as how our election went, I would like to comment that I appreciate the poll workers for their dedication to the county, as well as those who serve in the office, our AIP, and we're all learning together and progressing as we get more familiar with the processes, including completing and establishing processes. A special thank you to our law enforcement. Once again, I didn't have anything to worry about on election day because they were on it, and particularly Sheriff Babb and Major Bensaleh, who always checked in with me periodically throughout the election day. They did a very good job of communicating, being very close to the precincts. I believe one of the board members said every time that was in-house, but I know some people said every time they went to a different precincts, like our techs and our in-house people, that they would see a sheriff there or representation there. And then also the municipal law enforcement and the marshals, they were very supportive via email, because I did send them out like just a notification letting them know, hey, this is coming up. So they were very supportive and responsive, and I think that is very important for us as election officials to know that we are protected as we try to carry out our duties. I also want to acknowledge the public comment, and I do apologize that happened to you. I want to be clear that now that I actually see the sample ballot, I know she brought it into the office and she spoke with our registrar for a little bit, but now that I actually see the sample ballot that she has in her hand, it's absolutely fine for her to take that to the polls. That's the version from MVP. And I'm not sure if our poll workers are educated on the difference, but in what we produce, which is a composite sample ballot, versus what's put out there from MVP. And also for the cities, I sent them their own single sample ballot to post on their websites just for the municipalities. But I didn't put it on our website because confusion. So I just want to make sure that you all know too, and I know that you're very supportive and aware that that's something we'll have to circle back in our poll worker training as well, amongst some other things that were mentioned in there too. Are there any questions for, oh, one more thing. She's not here, but I do want to give a special recognition and thank you to Registrar Beverly Daniel in her exit. I planned on her being here, but we had a lot going on in the office. But I just want to thank her for her service and her dedication to the county. I know she absolutely loves Fayette County, and she's a citizen here as well, and just send her well wishes on whatever her future endeavors is. I think it's putting her feet up and relaxing, but I can't confirm to that. But I just wanted to give her that special recognition for her time in the office and her service to us in the community. Any questions for me?
Any questions for the director?
Good.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's all great.
Okay, well, thank you, Director Garrett. That will bring us.
I'm going to stop just a second.
Oh, sure.
On office updates, I mean, I could read this, but can you just give a brief, where are we on that expansion? Going into the new section?
There hasn't been any progress since our last meeting. There hasn't been any progress.
Oh, okay.
So we're still waiting on a official start date. There's been a little movement. There's a wall down, but other than that, I don't have an update just yet.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, with that, that'll bring us to the next item on the agenda, of course, the attorney's report. You have anything for us, Patrick? Love to hear it. Next item is the board members' reports. So, Morris, do you have anything?
No, good. I was pleased to be able to go see the different polls I didn't get to see last time. So I look forward to, I guess, the next election we'll have a different set then. It's a challenge to get around to every one of them, but it's a pleasure meeting each one of them. And one of the things that I noticed as I went from poll to poll is I walked up, they didn't know I was on the board, but they had the biggest smile on their face, you know, the person greeting. And I thought that was everywhere, each poll I visited had that, and I think it's just a good way of showing people they're welcome and invited. So there's some good training there. I don't know whether it just came from their heart without training or whether they were trained to do that, but it was good to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I thought this election, the turnout was much heavier than I think anybody expected. And over the visits, I mean, I was surprised to hear a few things I've never heard of a poll manager having to call 911 on a voter before. And I heard that, I think, once, or maybe twice. And that just tells me how much we have to show our appreciation to poll workers for it to get to a point where somebody has to call 911. I was surprised, but I'm glad they handled it, and I just think we have to show them a lot of appreciation. Of course, the office, but those there on the front lines. I mean, I guess it can get a little tacky at times. So, no, I think it was good. I'm thankful that everybody pitched in and did a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll echo some of those sentiments. Throughout, whenever we have elections, we're going to have minor glitches, minor issues arise, but I think the one of the greatest things that I saw during this election was the fact that staff and, like you said, the frontline workers there in the polls worked collaboratively to solve any issues that arose and ensure that voters were able to cast their ballot with integrity, with convenience, and in that welcoming environment, like you mentioned, Morris. Of course, it's always a constant battle to evolve and grow in our training, and to make sure that we provide the best experience to the voting public, and something that they can walk away with that smile that the poll worker had on the voter's face. Now, that's, of course, always an ongoing evolution, but that's something that we take very seriously, and that we here at the board, I know, will definitely constantly be maintaining that vigilance in pursuing that great experience for all of our voters. I'll echo the director's sentiment as well. I also got to engage with some of our law enforcement partners throughout the polls, and of course, it's always a push and pull, a tug of war between concerns about public safety of the polls, as well as potential for voter intimidation sentiments. So I would just really appreciate the manner in which our law enforcement partners conducted themselves, ensured that they did their jobs with honesty, integrity, and made sure that the voting public had a fantastic experience throughout. And that's not easy to strike that balance, but I thought they did a really good job. Again, this is our last meeting before our registrar, Beverly Daniel, will be leaving us, of course. I've gotten to know Beverly over the past, I guess going on 2 years now since we got on the board. And I don't think you'll ever find a stronger workhorse than Beverly. She puts her heart 110% into everything she does, and everything that she does is always focused on public service. It's true of her, it's true of her family, it's true of her children. And so she's just a very inspiring figure that I think has contributed a great deal to Fayette County elections in our community as a whole. So with that, that's all I have. I don't believe we have any items that are necessary for executive session. So with that, and that brings us to adjournment, and I would accept a motion.
Yes, but we will discuss at a future meeting about the, what we brought up
Sure.
last time. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I hereby make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
What?
Okay.
Second.
Motion and second been made. Don't need a second, but I'd love to have it. And so with that, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.